Welcome to Soul Reflections. I'm on the beautiful island in the Bahamas, and yes, it is hot. I am sweating, but wow, these waters are beautiful. It makes me feel like I just want to dive in. Anyway, back to our show. Soul Reflection is a series that deals with all aspects of life. It caters positively to the body, the mind, the soul, and yes, let's not forget our spirit. Okay, our guest today is Dr. Wayne Thompson, and our topic is dealing with challenges or facing challenges and overcoming them. Dr. Thompson has a long biography, so I'm going to condense it for you. He has a doctorate in theocentric counseling. Wow, that's a big word, I know, okay? And he also has a doctorate in clinical psychology. Dr. Thompson is an ordained minister. He's a husband. He's a father of two. Oh, and he also belongs to he's a member of the American Counseling Association and Psychological Association. Dr. Thompson also is the proprietor of the Center for Renewing Relationships. We all have at some point in our lives been faced with obstacles and challenges. And yes, we've heard quotes such as, the greater the obstacle, the more the glory in overcoming them. Yet many times when we are faced with challenges, we often become confused, distraught, depressed, and yes, even angry. Adrana Lockhart back again. Yes, here I am, and I'm on Cable Beach, the beautiful Cable Beach on the island of New Providence. If you're wondering where that is, it's a drive from downtown Nassau, and it is a gorgeous day. It is just beautiful. Well, Cable Beach, there's so much new shops and restaurants. It is fast, becoming almost like a new French Riviera of the Caribbean. Jeff, why don't you just get some shots of this area and all of our shops and what we have to offer. Wow, it is a gorgeous day. Cable Beach on the island of New Providence, a drive from downtown Nassau. And there, yes, you've gotten your geography lesson just in case you were wondering where you are. You can have a look at what's going on and what's happening on Cable Beach. And yes, before I get into our interview with our special guest today, I must mention our sponsor, CableBeachShops.com. And this is an complete online directory where you can find everything you need to know about Cable Beach. Thank you. Welcome back to Soul Reflections, and we are here in the office with our guest, Dr. Wayne Thompson. We are at the Center for Renewing Relationships. Welcome, Dr. Thompson. It is so good to have you with us.
Thanks. Thank you so very much for having me. It's indeed a pleasure.
And we're looking forward, of course, to a great time with you.
Yes.
And
yes.
Our topic today actually is facing challenges. But before we actually get into that, I would really like to find out a few things about you.
Sure.
One of the questions I was interested in, what in your life, what caused you to go into the area or the field of psychology and counseling?
It's a very interesting question. You know, it actually wasn't a choice of mine. It actually was the call of God. I was 14 years old when I felt a very clear call and direction from God to specialize in relationships. So I'm still in high school.
Wow.
Okay, I'm probably in grade 8 or 9. Playing soccer, basketball, tennis, doing all of that.
Yes.
But that's when the call came.
Yes.
So it's been a long journey for me.
Oh, wow.
And it's been one that has been deeply rewarding and deeply fulfilling. I've always had a love of people. From high school time, I've been deeply bothered by the impact of separation and divorce on students.
Oh, wow.
So at school, kids who were going through that, and at church, I would find myself talking to them and helping.
Okay.
So it was God crystallizing for me what He wanted me to do. And so it's been a wonderful journey. So I started, first of all, understanding and studying human beings from a theological creation perspective.
Okay.
So I did my PhD in Christian counseling, understanding that.
Okay.
Then I realized that I needed to know more. God said that's not enough. You need to understand the mind of people.
Okay.
So then that led to me pursuing psychology. So I studied up to a PhD in clinical psychology so I could understand. I then found that it was very beneficial because it helped me to be able to diagnose and understand a lot of issues and problems affecting people. But then I began to notice some other things
Okay, what are they?
that,
Please tell
that,
us.
that I wasn't very clear about. Then God said to me, you need to understand man is spirit, man is mental, and so you need to now switch over and get the mental medical side, because you have the emotional psychological side. So
Okay.
now I've just completed all of my coursework in pharmacology towards my master's in psychiatry.
Oh, okay.
So I now could connect the problems from the spiritual person to the emotional person to the mental, physical person,
Wow,
and
all
how
those
those
areas.
things affect a person's
Mhm.
life. And so my love for people has driven me to continue
that.
to
Well,
pursue.
it's very important to love people. I'm a
Yes.
people's person also.
Yes.
I love people.
Yes.
I mean, to me, human beings they're awesome creatures.
Yes.
I mean, they're very interesting creatures.
Very interesting.
You know, because you cannot predict a human being.
No.
An animal remains the same.
Yes.
A lion does what it's been doing
Yes.
for centuries.
Yes.
You know, the dogs do what they've been doing for centuries.
But human beings?
They evolve, they create,
Yes.
they develop in so
Yes.
many ways. Just look
Yes.
at technology.
Yes.
That's something that caught my attention when I was reading your biography.
Yes.
Theocentric counseling. Can you please explain
Yeah.
to us what that is?
It is understanding that the human being isn't something that fell out the sky,
Yes.
land in the water, crawl on the land.
Mm-hmm.
And why that's important is this. Okay. If a human being recognizes in their fourth decade of life, they've got an issue. Because they are created, you can go back into the third, second, or first decade of their life to find out where the problem originated from.
Where it lies and originated from.
That is critically important. So man at the center then is a unique being. He's more than animals because he's more than just the material of the ground. He has a soul.
Yes.
So you need to understand them theocentrically from that perspective. And so that gives me a deep insight in being able to understand human beings.
Okay.
Sometimes people don't recognize it, but the issue that's affecting them is on their human spirit side.
Okay.
But once the human spirit is broken, it then spills over and begins to affect the emotional person,
Okay.
and then spills over and begins to affect the mental person.
Oh, okay. So it interrelates and stems
Uh-huh.
from. Now, normally it's said that human beings go through 4 stages of life. You know, from this age to that age to that age, and some persons end up stuck in certain stages. Can you please explain to us what those 4 stages are?
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. You know, we have this first phase of life that is the infant, or what we'd call the baby child phase of life. This is the phase of life of dependency.
Yes, of course.
This is a phase where it is imperative that parents and guardians understand the awesome responsibility they have. Why? At this stage, which is about from 0 to 7, clinically speaking, this is the phase where all learning is through observation.
Yes, okay.
So a child or a baby that is exposed in an environment with violence,
That's what it's observing.
they begin to formulate that the manner in which you go about resolving things takes on this
It's
direction.
the violent way. That's what they're seeing.
That's what they're seeing.
exposed to.
So by age 7, actually, a child's way of thinking,
Yes.
behaving, and reasoning is actually formed.
And you know, I think parents don't realize that they have a really short time.
That's it.
A really short, from 0 to 7.
From 0 to 7 is not a long time.
I remember they said, the Catholics said, if you give us a child from 0 to 7, that child will remain Catholic for the rest of their life.
Yes.
The communists say the same thing.
Yes, that is correct. And if you look at it, if you go through world history, you'll find that this is why when movements like communism came about, it was imperative to get to the children. And they got to the children at a very early age. And it forms the foundation, basically, of how they would think and reason for the rest of their lives, male or female.
Wow.
Now, Then we go into this second phase. This second phase is a challenge for a lot of parents. Why? Because the child now wants to move from dependency to independence.